Travis Kelce's sideline dance in Saturday's preseason loss did more than make a few viral clips. It crystallized something the Chiefs have relied on for years: veteran leadership that blends personality with purpose. There's an easy headline hook: Kelce boogies, fans cheer. But the more interesting takeaway is what that looseness actually does for a championship caliber team heading into a season that will demand buy-in, resilience, and mentorship. First, context matters. Preseason games are evaluation labs where starters mostly sit and younger players get live reps. For established stars like Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, the job isn't to pile up stats. It's to set tone, teach, and stabilize the culture. When Kelce and Chris Jones got up and danced, they were modeling an emotional script. Stay engaged, make it fun, reward teammates' success. That kind of visible positive energy communicates three things to young players simultaneously. You belong, your wins are noticed, and high-level veterans will have your back. For a room that will be asked to perform under stress week after week, those informal cues matter. There's also a coaching dimension. Andy Reid's remark about peer pressure is good pressure nails the delicate balance teams want from veterans: warmth without complacency. Kelce's sideline demeanor: cheering loudly, offering goofy dances, but also barking constructive critique when necessary, functions as a soft form of leadership that supplements the coach's hard authority. Young players often internalize standards more readily when a star they admire enforces them. When Kelce publicly celebrates a rookie's catch, that play's replication is more likely because it's now tied to social reward and status inside the locker room. The optics piece can be contentious. Critics will argue that a player in his 13th season should look clinical and laser-focused even in preseason. That's a fair take, only if you assume focus and joy are mutually exclusive. In practice, veteran pros who last get both things right, they conserve emotional energy for critical moments and release it to create positive grooves during low-stakes windows. The key is calibration. If sideline play becomes a distraction or looks like indifference when teammates are getting rolled on the field, then the tempo needs correction. There was, after all, a serious injury on Saturday: Deon Bush's season-ending Achilles. Celebratory energy in the wake of bad injuries would be tone-deaf. The best leaders adjust instantly. They show levity when appropriate and gravitas when the moment requires it. Kelce's public demeanors in the hours after the injury and his sideline interactions with injured players are the real litmus test for whether the energy is helpful or hollow. From a roster management perspective, Kelce's presence is valuable beyond mentoring. Young tight ends and receivers see up-close technique cues: how he stalks through route stems, how he sets up defenders with subtle pre-snap motions, where he places his hands on contested catches. That kind of micro-coaching in real time supplements formal film sessions. A rookie who gets a 5-second tip from Kelce on leverage or route depth often internalizes it faster than the same note from a coach who's delivering it in a classroom setting. That accelerates player development, which over the course of a season can translate into fewer rookie mistakes and steadier second-half performance. There's also a communications and marketing angle. Kelce is a cultural amplifier. His sideline antics translate to social engagement that helps the franchise monetarily and reputationally. That matters in an era where attention is a currency. The team can monetize clips, drive ticket interest, and maintain a connection with casual fans. But that upside is contingent on the play still being done at a high level. Showmanship only enhances a brand when it accompanies on-field excellence and professionalism. At the tactical level, there are modest risks. Too much visible levity during a game that's spiraling could be read as complacency. Penalties and sloppy execution, which the Chiefs struggled with Saturday, require immediate correction. Veterans like Kelce are powerful allies in that correction process. They can enforce detail work in practice and publicly analogize standards, but only if they pair the celebration with accountability. The ideal script is what Reid described: cheer the correct things in real time and be hard on them when they goof up. In other words, use peer pressure to close gaps, not to paper over them. Practically, how should the Chiefs leverage Kelce moving forward? First, formalize moments of mentorship. Scheduled walkthroughs where Kelce takes younger tight ends and receivers through route stems, red zone footwork, and contested catch technique. Second, Use him as a bridge in situational reps during practice, where he can call out pre-snap adjustments and show the younger players how to manipulate leverage. Third, give him clear accountability roles. If a particular unit keeps committing penalties, make him a visible corrective voice so the locker room knows the critique is mutual, coaches plus veterans aligned. Finally, factor in the human element. Kelce is likely near the tail end of a Hall of Fame trajectory, and that awareness changes his leadership profile. Veterans in that phase often become custodians of culture. They care more about the next generation's growth than their own stat lines. That makes Kelce's visible joy useful. It signals generational handoff and invites others to carry the torch. If the Chiefs navigate the season with a mix of Kelce's charisma and Reid's disciplined structure, they'll have both a motivational engine and the necessary accountability to perform when it matters. In sum, Kelce's sideline behavior was less about frivolity and more about function. It amplified culture, accelerated informal coaching, and injected energy into a room that will need it across a long season. The only caveat, that energy must be tethered to accountability. So long as Kelce can celebrate and then help clean up the penalties and execution issues that followed, his sideline dances are an asset, not a distraction. Travis Kelce's sideline behavior during the Chiefs' preseason loss to the Cardinals quickly became the most talked about non-gameplay moment of the night, and for good reason. In a contest that featured limited snaps from stars and an unfortunate season-ending Achilles injury to defensive back Deon Bush, Kelce supplied a reminder that veteran presence extends far beyond production on the stat sheet. Kelce played sparingly, 3 snaps, no catches, but his impact was unmistakable in the way he carried himself on the sideline. Videos of him dancing with defensive tackle Chris Jones spread fast, not because he was shirking responsibility, but because his energy illustrated a crucial element of team culture: veteran leadership that balances intensity with levity. That balance matters in August, when rosters are crowded, nerves run high, and younger players are still learning how to handle the grind. Head coach Andy Reid's reaction was telling. Reid praised the veteran group for their role in developing younger talent, calling peer pressure good pressure, and pointing out that stars like Kelce and Patrick Mahomes aren't just cheering, they're teaching. That's a key distinction. Kelce's sideline antics were paired with visible mentorship. He's known to coach teammates through mistakes and to set standards in meetings and practice. In short, he's modeling how to be professional while remaining approachable. There's also a deeper strategic value to Kelce's approach. Preseason is a controlled environment to experiment, evaluate, and yes, build chemistry. When veteran leaders stay engaged on the sideline, they amplify learning opportunities for backups and rookies. Young receivers see firsthand how Kelce reads routes and reacts to coverage, and quarterbacks get a live clinic in timing and body language. That informal instruction can accelerate readiness more than a dozen walkthroughs ever will. Of course, optics matter. Critics will always question sideline exuberance during a loss, especially after an early injury to a teammate, but context is important. Mahomes, who played only a handful of snaps, remained intensely involved and even vocal from the bench, mirroring Kelce's invested presence. The duo's sideline focus shows the team isn't checked out just because it's August. Finally, with Kelce possibly nearing the end of a Hall of Fame caliber career, every sideline moment takes on outsized meaning. Fans read into dances and smiles, projecting storylines about legacy and longevity. For the Chiefs, the takeaway should be simpler. Kelce remains a cultural cornerstone. In a league where locker room tone can swing a season, his mix of joy, mentorship, and accountability is exactly the kind of leadership Andy Reid wants around Mahomes and the next generation.